Hey, ScouterStan. Did you know I'm a member of a patrol? We actually put together a patrol in the spirit, because, I'm in the adult leaders things. We call it the patrol that we are in is the Griffins. And it's a membership patrol. And that's actually this patch. That's my patch for my patrol. And the Griffin is a mythological creature that actually helps pilgrims on a better path. Our patrol is focused on membership. Okay, so I'm very big on scouting. Okay, our patrol does a lot of stuff with membership. In fact, we even wear the recruiter patch that the youth wear. You have to recruit 1,000 scouts, but in our patrol, you can actually wear the Griffin patch because you're a patrol member of the advance of getting people recruited into scouting. So, but that's kind of what the subject of today is about. We're talking about patrols. Now, patrols are critical when you're looking at a troop and even a crew. Crews can actually be divided off in different groups for their crew. They can have different groups that do different things. Those groups act like patrols. And then in Cub Scouting, we have the Arrow of Lights. And they often will have a patrol name as Arrow of Light. In the den, they go from being a den to a patrol. So these are things that happen all the time within scouting. There's a really good reason. Baden-Powell, the founder of scouting, the man who invented scouting, first really developed the patrol method for the British Army. This was shortly after the big thing that he did at Mafeking, where the siege of Mafeking, and where he became a hero to the British people. That kind of snowballed, and all of the books that he wrote at that time. That's kind of where the patrol method kind of came from, and the patrol method even works today. It's a wonderful thing out there that helps youth get around issues and achieve. And I think he put it the best. Now I'm going to put it up on the screen, and I'm going to just read it off. Okay, so this is directly out of Aids to Scoutmasters by Baden-Powell. It's actually a book or a booklet. It's a smaller thing, and I will put a PDF at the bottom of this video. If you're listening on podcast, it'll be in the show description. So just down there will be a link so that you too can get your own copy, a PDF copy of this booklet that BP wrote. Now, in the booklet about patrol method, and he's really referring to Scoutmasters in this. He was kind of the training for Scoutmasters, kind of the first Scoutmaster's handbook, really, was this booklet. Now, keep in mind, this is a person who is a product of the 1890s. Okay, so terminology is a little different. So take it with a grain of salt, as they say. But nothing. I mean, you could definitely read the materials and still get the meaning. And it's still true even today. But let me read you a small passage. I'll put it up here on the screen. The patrol method is working when the adult acts as a guide, mentor, and counselor to the youth, helping them by word and example to lead one another, to influence one another, to encourage competition and excitement so that the scout grows as a group, as an individual. As you know, a troop can have as many patrols as needed for the population of the unit. So typically that's between 6 to 8 active scouts. Now, not all scouts are active. Now, in America, there are scouts who do band, who have football, who have sports, who have other commitments that they have to do. So they're not as active. They're not at every meeting. So they could actually be put into a patrol with 8 active scouts that are at every meeting. So that's totally fine. But that's about the right number. A handful, 8, somewhere between 6 and 8 youth would be in that patrol. A patrol will also have its own name, its own logo. Okay, yeah, the Panthers, that was a big one. My son was a Panther. There's a lot of different names for the patrols, and they have their own logo. They have their own ID, their own branding. Okay, we get business like that. That is one of the things that they do. They also do cheers and games, and they have a lot of camaraderie, and they get along with one another. That's a big element of a patrol. Now, many troops will have what they call the green bar patrol. This is typically all of the troops' youth leaders that are put into the green bar patrol. This is it's not the older veterans of the unit. They are basically the youth staff that run the unit. That's why they have their own patrol. That would be led by the senior patrol leader, who is in a troop that is the senior youth. They run the troop. It's their troop. The establishment of that is very core feature of a troop. Being youth-led. They run the troop. They're voted by the members of the troop. They run it. They're also the head. They're the patrol leader of the green bar. So that's the senior patrol leader. All of the elected people or youth that are in the scouts, that are in that unit, would also be in the green bar unit as the elected officials for different things, like the quartermaster, the web person, the different people, the chaplain's aide, all of those elected officials that are part of the PLC, except the patrol leaders. They have their own patrol. So the patrol leaders have their own. They're not part of that green bar. In addition to that, they will have a first year patrol. This is typically the Cub Scouts, the Arrow of Lights, that have learned all of their scout skills and are ready to join a troop. When they cross over into the troop, a lot of times they are put into a first year emphasis patrol. They pick a name and they build a flag and they do all the logo stuff and they do all those things that all the other patrols do. But this patrol is focused on scout skills, and their goal is to get to first class. That is the goal of the guides for the troop, to mentor and motivate those new scouts towards that rank. Now, eventually, everyone in the first year emphasis patrol will be eligible to be recruited into other patrols. They'll have first class, they've got some campouts, they're scouts. And these are important to distribute into the patrols that exist within the troop. This patrol system should be managed by the Scoutmaster. During the Scoutmaster conferences, With new scouts, it's important that there be some questions, open-ended questions. What do you think of the panthers compared to the radioactive moose? That's one of the things that a scoutmaster does with the youth to find out what their preferences are, where they would be a good fit within a patrol. It is not recommended that there be a patrol that is exclusively for veterans or senior scouts. The reason for this is quite simple. If you're not constantly adding new scouts to that patrol is being set up to phase itself out of existence. Make sure that when you're looking at patrol assignments for the new scouts, when they're moving over from that patrol into the patrols that are already with the troop, make sure that you have paired up scouts so that they could actually share tents. This is within the guidelines of YPT, so keep that in mind. All patrols have a patrol leader that is actually elected in by the patrol membership. That patrol leader has an assistant. That assistant is there so in case the patrol leader cannot attend a meeting, they can step up and take notes or work on the behalf of the patrol leader. That's all a part of being the assistant. There's also other positions. Now, these are not positions that are per se for rank advancement. So keep this in mind. The assistant patrol leader is not one of those positions. You need to be a patrol leader or one of the staff that's part of the troop for advancement. That's another subject completely. But other people in there, let's say the cook, the patrol cook, grub master, that's the person who is in charge of menu development. That's the person who does the cooking, okay, not just the cleaning. Okay, it's the one who actually comes up with that menu. That's usually something that's critical to a patrol. Patrols often, and youth do too, run on the stomach. They want to have good food. Logistics engineer, okay, that's also known as the quartermaster. That's very important. If you're at a camp out and you have a large troop, you're going to send your engineer, your patrol engineer, over to get the tents. Okay, you're going to need them. All right, that's a role that could be fulfilled within the patrol. Another big one is morale officer. Now, the morale officer starts off that cheer. They're the ones with the flag. They make sure that all the logos are available, the patches and stuff. That is a very critical thing. So there's other roles depending on your unit, depending on what your focus is. Those are things that happen within the patrol. Did you know that patrols can do activities and camp independently of the troop? That is totally within the scouting framework, as long as there's enough adult leadership and everything is by YPT, Youth Protection Training. As long as we're following with all those guidelines, a patrol can actually do activities and go camping on the approval of the Scoutmaster. So that is huge to a lot of youth. They didn't know. They thought they had to do everything as a troop. That's true. But they can also do things as a patrol. So that's something you need to bring up at your PLC. Find out if they have plans for doing individual patrol activities. At least camping can be very involved, and even more involved, adventurous things. That's all up to the Scoutmaster and how he works with his senior patrol leader and all of that facet of leadership. We want the youth to take charge. We want them to do these things, but we need to be there to make sure it's done safely, done within the guidelines, and made sure that youth protection is always kept in play. That is critical. The patrol method doesn't just play for the youth. We have adults that do all kinds of things. I have a troop that I know of that has a duct tape patrol for the adult leaders. The duct tape patrol keep the troop together. Great logo. I mean, they do a lot of fun stuff, and it's kind of, as Baden-Powell put in his booklet, again, I'm going to put it down there, go get a copy. But in that booklet, he says by our let me look up the words and examples. That's a great place to start. Us as adult leaders, we can be the words and example that the youth would like to bring on and learn from. So that's critical. There's a lot of different things you can do. Please join me in our community here. If you're in a unit, please let me know what your patrol is called, okay? And put it down below, and I'd love to hear about it, okay? So until next time, I will see you on the trail.